worked an awful lot with very sort of established directors, I guess you could say. Recently did a season of plays in the West End with Trevor Nunn, and a very different kind of approach to how you develop a production. And Annabel's approach interested me. It was a bit more just kind of coming from a different place of, not necessarily improvisation, but a kind of much more kind of a piece where you kind of imagine the piece has never been done before, you're doing it for the very first time, and not thinking about all the other productions of bohème that have been before. Just really starting afresh with it and saying, right, this is the first time this has ever been done, how would we make it look? And I always found that much more interesting. I think particularly so with opera, I think you find that there's a kind of burden of, people know the piece so well, particularly La Bohème, and you feel you want to kind of not necessarily change it for the sake of it, but you want to bring something fresh to it. And that sometimes can go wrong if you're just sort of perversely trying to be different, trying to be clever, overly clever with it. And in fact what you should do is just tell the story. Well, working with a piece by Puccini is such a unique thing, because you realise he's so precise about what he wants, both musically and texturally. And that can be quite tricky, because you feel, oh, I've got to supply everything he asks for. So if someone sings about an orange, they've got to be holding an orange. If someone's singing about a bonnet, they should be wearing a bonnet. And there comes a point where you kind of go, well, I can't. Again, it's that thing about using the audience's imagination. If you place too much emphasis on just trying to precisely recreate everything that Puccini has written in his opera, you'll end up with a rather dead production, I think. And also, I think you kind of inevitably will produce a kind of a production, a rather staid production that feels like a sort of museum piece. And you always want to get away from that. Yes, you want to make it relevant, but at the same time, you don't want to kind of, as I said before, you don't want to be a bit perverse about that.